Well,
7
now
o'clock.
it's getting started, huh? Let's go ahead and start tonight, folks, with the Pledge of Allegiance, if we could. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. We have a segment in our agenda here if you need to address the board. You'll be free to do so. And if you need to leave before our meeting's done, don't feel like you're going to distract us in any way. Just get up and leave. We understand. So let's get started tonight, shall we, with a roll call, please, Dawn?
Supervisor Altitis.
I'm here tonight, as much as I can be.
Clerk Dawn Beam, present. Treasurer Mike Rushing.
Excused.
Trustee Dwayne Hagel.
Here.
Trustee Mark Baranowski.
Here. All right, everybody's here tonight. Mike, we have no public hearing scheduled. I don't know if we have any guest speakers tonight, but I do know that we have citizens wishing to address the board. Some on agenda items, some not. We're going to hear them all this evening. So would this gentleman like to stand first and tell us who you are and why you're here tonight?
Thank you. My name's Jim Crane. I'm on the Board of Education in Cape Community Schools. As you may or may not know, we had a bond issue proposal on the ballot last Tuesday for a renewal, not an increase. We ended up passing the bond. I'm very grateful to the confidence that the voters placed in us. One item of concern for the board, and we're taking it very hard, is that in Riley Township it went down by a 3-2 margin. I'm here tonight to address the elected representatives of Riley Township to enlist your help and any citizens that would care to weigh in at any time. Doesn't have to be right now, but the board is concerned about our service to the citizens of this township. It's like I said, it's the only place, it's the only precinct we lost.
Tell us, renew our memories here about what that proposal was for.
It was
a renewal?
A renewal.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was a zero-sum increase. Stretched out a renewal of an expiring bond for a number of years in order to raise $6.7 million.
Just an operating bond?
No, it's got to be used for capital improvements.
Okay, improvements.
Right.
Building improvements?
Building.
Okay. Ground.
Furniture, grounds, that type of thing. So we unfortunately don't have a board member that lives in Riley Township. I have friends here and business acquaintances, a lot of people that were in 4-H with my kids. My baby just graduated at 21, so those contacts are kind of gone away. But the board is concerned, and we can identify some areas where Cape Schools is lacking. So we are not we're not unaware of our shortcomings, but we are intent on addressing them, fixing the problems, and serving all of our children with the best possible education we can.
So you're here tonight to encourage us to encourage the residents of the Cape district to vote and approve this in the next election.
Well, we passed it, so it's a done deal.
But it just,
this being the only place that we lost by a vote count.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Overall,
it passed, but Riley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Riley did not pass it.
Okay.
So what are we doing wrong? And is it a trust issue or a communications issue? And how can we fix it?
Sure.
We can't do anything if we don't know what's wrong.
Right.
So that's where we're at.
Okay, I'm wondering, and I'll put this question to the board tonight, what percentage of our township residents would you think are in the Cape School District? our
Oh.
3,400 residents.
Well, I wish I was a little bit more prepared coming in to
Yeah.
address kind of thing.
Just
So,
talking off the
because
cuff.
pretty much we had 3 different ballot styles with the election. Armada, because it's a sliver of Macomb County
Right.
that we had, and then there was K-PAC, and then our biggest was the SC4 proposals, St. Clair County proposals kind of thing. K-PAC was, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was a pretty decent sized amount of people.
300 votes cast.
Mhm.
We lost 100, basically 100.
Yeah, I want to say I planned on about, for absentee ballots, I planned on like, oh gosh, I think just for K-PAC, a couple hundred absentee ballots based on the permanent AV list that we had sent out for that ballot style. And we got quite a bit of response back from them. I was really happy, but for a primary though, for a primary,
Yeah,
we had a
right.
good turnout.
It was 181 to 117. No,
Okay.
Hmm.
every other precinct we carried.
Right.
But the August primary, it's always a lower turnout anyways.
It is.
Sure.
It is overall compared to a general, and my advice would be to improve the voter turnout and stuff. I don't understand the dynamics of when a school district puts a proposal on versus a primary versus a general election. Which one would be better of the two to put them on? So I don't know how that decision is made. Because you typically have a lower turnout on primaries versus any other type of election. So I don't know if that might be something that might impact your numbers a little bit more in Riley Township for consideration in the future. I am a new clerk in this township for a year. This was my first election experience. So I'm trying to help improve the voter information for the residents of Riley Township. Mostly through, later on in the meeting, I'm going to be talking about the election during our committee addresses and our website and what our website looks like. Because before it was very hard to navigate with the information. I'm trying to make those improvements. I think we're seeing those improvements. We had improvements in here for the election as well too, from the past that we'll talk about as well. But my goal is to help improve voter information and access to voter information. What are their options to vote, how to vote, and any general information such as what's on my ballot, what does the ballot language look like. That information is accessible to all voters, whether or not you're a Raleigh Township resident or not. You can go to our website, click a button, and you can see the actual language, what's going to be on your ballot for all proposals.
Well, I'm glad you've stopped tonight to tell us that K-PAC's aware of the problems and they're working on them. We can, of course, pass that along. Maybe many of the residents in the K-PAC district that voted against this aren't aware of that fact. And of course, I interact with a lot of our residents, many of them in the K-PAC district. So I will certainly do my best to pass that along and let them know that you're concerned, that you're working on it, and ready to make improvements. So, yeah, okay, good. Glad you came tonight. All right, let's move on. We have 2 other residents here tonight, and I'm going to ask Dave to go first.
Okay.
I know who you are and where you live, but maybe you could just tell everybody here so
My
they
name's
know.
Dave Poplawski. I live on Dunn Road. I've had an ongoing issue, noise issue with the neighbor next to me.
Just
west of
one?
me.
Just one?
Just one.
Okay.
Well, actually, there's a couple other ones, but
And this has been ongoing for
I'm
several
like, when you put the funnel at the bottom on Dunn Road, everything that you don't like gravitates to this part, okay? And that's what I have to put up with. I listen to dirt bikes right next to my house that have open chambers that rattle you right out of your house. You hear it with the doors closed. You can't open your doors because it's really loud. It's loud either way. If the kids are on their dirt bikes, which have slowly tweaked up, I think the dad's working on it, tweaking up the power they're 25 or 30 feet away from my back where I got the windows open. I can't open the front that well because of the dust. It's dusty out there. So you listen to this. Sometimes it goes on from noon till 5. They take a lunch break, get back on them, do it till it gets dark. Sometimes it's only for a couple hours. I talked to Al about this. I played some tapes.
It was loud.
On July 9th, they had a party. I listened to this shit with them yakking and hollering and doing this stuff and getting the ATV with the open chamber out there and the kids yelling and screaming across the yard. I did this till 10:30 when they started with the fireworks. I yelled over there, hey, it's not even a holiday. What are you blowing them off for? They got quiet for 2 minutes. They went right back to it. And my neighbor is going to fill in. He went over there.
Yeah.
But this stuff goes on, and maybe if you're in our age brackets, you can relate to it. Even if you're not, you can. I moved from Warren. I lived next door to a Fraser school teacher. Her son was dealing drugs out of the house. I moved away from this shit. So now what we need is everybody in the board here, everybody in Riley Township management to take a concern and interest into keeping this place the way it should be. A nice, quiet, peaceful township. Another thing, you got these ATVs going up and down the road. They fly. Non-stop, they fly. There's no 25 mile an hour on the shoulder. They're flying. The fireworks, that's another one. The guy that moved in, $500,000, he bought a house off Reeves and Dunn. Blowing off fireworks, it's not even a holiday. Which gets into another thing. Are the permits really worth that much to piss somebody and aggravate them off? My wife is a nurse. She's got to get up in the morning. She likes to go to bed. I've got health issues. I like to just relax. I have a new dog that does not like fireworks. And if you take the dog out of here, between me and the wife, that's enough. We moved out of the city to get into the country. Peaceful, quiet, fat chance. And if I could move tomorrow, I would. I can't afford it. I can't. It's like I'm stuck there. I'm stuck in hell. And that's what I want is this board, like on the little bikes going by and stuff, pass ordinance. It's not going to just help me. Somebody else is in the same situation. Make it to where you can't run one of them things 100 feet from the property line or 120 feet. That would help. Okay? Because not everybody likes that. And in the wintertime, it's the same thing because you got the ATVs and you hear them yelling and they got the sleds going. And again, you can hear mom and dad drive down there right by the property. The property line is 25 or 35 feet. Anywhere, I'd say maybe 30 feet. But that's how close it is to the back of my house, and you can hear it. Because my mud room goes into the kitchen and the front. This is what you got to listen to. I get so frustrated I can cry. I'm too old for this shit. I don't need it. And if the idiot next door would have any kind of parenting or when he grew up, his kids wouldn't be outside at 10:30 at night screaming and yelling. And
this is an old issue, I know.
this is an old issue. This has been going on for years. When they moved in, it was nice and quiet, except for the first time I met them. They said it wasn't that late. They got a piece of strip of property that goes across the creek. And the guy that lived there would tell his brother or whatever worked for DTE, so they got a hold of some lumber and made a bridge. The day these people bought this house, they had a party, loud, obnoxious to me. They had an old truck out there on the back of the property, headlights going, cut off exhaust, wee-ha! And this is what I'm listening to. I walked over and I said, look, I'm not going to live like this. And you can't call the cops because sheriffs don't come up. And the guy that I talked to him, I confronted him a couple times. He said, well, I've had postage ripped off. FedEx delivered a package here and it mysteriously, just disappeared. I've been going on with this shit with these people. It gets to be the point where I get frustrated.
Didn't you tell me a while ago that you even had the emergency?
Oh yeah,
sirens
at
out
that
there?
party they had on the 9th, somebody flipped a thing for an emergency vehicle. They had that going for a minute.
Sirens or beepers or whatever?
Yeah, sirens and beepers. And then I think it was a year ago in fall even, nice quiet evening, all of a sudden one of their little buddies pulls up on one of those ATVs, the 4-seaters, a real fancy one. They've got a stereo system. It blew my TV. You couldn't hear the TV. That's how loud it was. Lights going, red, blue, green. What the hell is this?
So, Dave, this is one of your neighbors here, is it not?
I'm
Yes.
on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the other side
Oh,
of Dave's.
I'd like to hear from you.
Okay,
too.
and one more thing. There's open cases going. There's a problem now. I've been getting a hold of Al because I don't have no trust in Fred.
Has he been out there? Fred has been out there, has he not, to speak with him at one time?
He might have. He said he had trouble getting a hold of him. But I talked to Fred, and Fred started washing down things. Well, you can't control what they run on their property, and this. You could do anything you want. That's why I'm here. The board needs to have some kind of thing put into it where you got to be 100 feet away. And then don't doctor up the damn exhaust. That guy could be out there on the other side of his property and crack the throttle and you could hear it like it's...
Well, that's a violation of the noise ordinance right there. To
Right there,
alter,
yeah.
to alter any kind of exhaust
Yeah.
on these things. It says right.
But with the kids going, I know kids are going to be kids. I understand that. These kids are heathens.
The kids aren't altering the exhaust.
No,
Yes.
they're not. The parents are. But you can hear mom and dad say, drive down there by the bottom there, by the tree line. They're telling them to do it. Like they know that it's pissed. It doesn't piss me off as much as it irritates me to think that they're that considerate and stupid.
Yeah. Well,
And what kind of parents do they have to do that? If I did that, my dad have his foot up my ass so far, it'd be up to here. And maybe that's what the thing is. These people come out here to get away with this shit. But this is where the board needs to tighten up this stuff. You're not going to look bad if you don't follow, well, they do this in Emmett, or they do this here, or they do that. You set your own standards. If you want to shoot low, that's what you get. If you shoot high, like in Fred's case, I don't think Fred, I don't know, what was he, the police, the kitchen police?
I don't know. He's not here to speak for himself tonight.
I know, and I don't want to.
I wish he would.
I was getting into him. I was getting irritated from last time I talked to him because of the fact that when you do talk to him, well, you know that. No, I don't know. You're the boss on this ship, and you got to steer it. Yeah. You go there. You don't give them a second out. Well, if you do this, you should be okay. You go there, read them the riot act, and this is the way it's going to be.
Well, when
That's
violate,
it.
When they violate the ordinance, they're breaking the law.
That's it.
It's
Cut, dry,
and
finish.
That's why we take.
But you got to have a backbone, and you got to stay. I have no faith in Fred no more. Again, that's why I relayed all my messages and stuff to Al. As far as it goes with these blight ordinances, the guy 2 houses down from me, I told Al about it, and I told Fred about it.
Yeah.
And this guy, DTE cut some trees up, and I was out there loading up some of the stuff. He come up to me and says, he made real nice talk, and he said, by the way, are you one of the people that put a complaint in with the township?
The resident asked you this?
Yeah, resident.
Yeah, he was thinking it was me. He was
Yeah.
over on
Yeah.
He's trying to find
corner
out
of
why
He was fishing. Yeah. I can't lie. I told him, I says, yeah, I was one of them. But I says, and on the same token, you think that people want to live next to that shithole with all the cars and stuff laying around? That's the one where they had the fire in the driveway and he wasn't Nobody home.
That's the guy we've got in court right now, I believe.
Okay.
The guy you're talking about.
Has Fred made it out there?
Well, he's been out there, I know that, but he's turned it over to the attorney, so we do have,
Okay.
we are in the process of court action on him.
Okay, because he was supposed to
He'll
have
be in
court
court
action.
the 15th of this month.
Okay, it's still the same way, if not worse. 4 or 5 cars sitting out there,
They'll
shit
come and
laying
go.
on. And this is the thing, when it comes to, the ordinance guy should be going once a week, whatever, figure out a schedule. Drive down the road and look. I could take you guys on a ride and you say, how is it like this?
You know,
Why does this guy got 20 cars and go up to Masters at 19? That guy slowly has a pile going. There was another one that's across the street. I don't know if this stuff gets, grandfathered in or what.
No, it doesn't get grandfathered in. Generally,
But-
we don't know about it until somebody files a complaint.
Okay,
so-
it shouldn't have to do that.
No,
This guy should be on, if I lived in Warren, they wouldn't be waiting for me to complain.
no, the city.
They'd be up, I know, move back to Warren, maybe I should. Maybe I should.
Let me hear something from your neighbor tonight.
But, and with the fireworks,
Yeah, that's
get
a
rid
whole
of
other
that.
issue.
that issue of giving them a $23 permit to aggravate the piss out of somebody is not worth the money.
Yeah, that's,
It's not. I'll give you $23. Better yet, if you want to do that, you get the neighbors on two sides, and anybody in back or front, and ask them. If anybody says, no, I don't want to listen to it, that's it. Dead.
all right, tell us a little bit.
Sorry, guys.
More about that.
I'm Joe Page, I live next door to Dave on
Okay.
the east side.
What's going on?
Well, it's the same issue there. Even in my backyard, I can hear
You're,
the quads and stuff, they're running all over the place. in the
you're
back.
farther away from it than what Dave is.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
full
Another
lot
one.
away, it's basically 300 feet-ish.
This has been going on for some time, has it not?
It's since they moved in, yes.
Which is,
It's been, 4 or 5 years, 6 years.
No longer than that, Joe.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, I think it's been about 9 years at least.
my time is.
Yeah, mine is.
Kind of screwed up.
yeah.
So I'm just kind of like reiterating
Right, right.
what's going on there.
Good.
The guy next door he's doing all his work in the front yard and leaving the scrap behind
The one that had the vehicles out.
with the vehicles out front and stuff there.
Stuff.
I don't begrudge anybody for hobbies or doing what they do for a living and stuff
Sure.
there. But they do make pole barns. You don't need to plant carcasses of vehicles in the front yard.
Right,
You don't need to put chassis out in the front yard. You don't need stacks of tires in the front yard.
I agree.
If I decide, which I am gonna be doing, I'll be heading back to Georgia. But, when I do that, I don't wanna have to have my, value, the property value.
Right.
Affected by, somebody that can't put stuff away or
Right.
work inside a garage or something there.
Yeah.
As far as the fireworks go, I called the police, the sheriff.
Yeah.
45 minutes later, still nobody had come. I stopped by the house when they were going off. It was, 10, a little after 10. I went out there and said, hey, look, it's not even the 4th of July, knock it off.
Yeah.
And it got real quiet. I got back in the house, let the dog out.
Oh,
Because
you
the
were in your truck.
First time I went
Yeah.
to let the dog out, we were out and the fireworks started, had no idea they were gonna start up. He ran back in the house and refused to come back outside. It's just a little dog,
Yeah.
I don't mind fireworks, I don't mind them at all. I really don't mind them when they're in a community, area there where
Yeah.
everybody can enjoy them. You have you go out there for the 1 day or 2 days and ooh and ah and be done with it. I don't appreciate it on the 9th and the 21st and the 10th and the 11th and everything else there.
Right. When you're not supposed to.
When you're not supposed to. The new guy, the guy that sold the house, his greeting into the neighborhood was 12:30 at night running his bulldozer, literally,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah, I told you.
backyard. We had a couple of words.
That's another violation of the noise ordinance, by the
There
way.
was gonna be another violation.
That's what I mean. People get so irritated. You push people against the wall. Shit happens sometimes. This is why you guys got to take this more serious. You got to take steps to implement stuff that controls this. And when you do have a complaint, you get somebody out there with a backbone that can back it up.
My issue with the new guy was it was, I don't know how long he's been there, a couple
New
of months.
neighbor out there?
The one that bought that,
Yeah.
the house on
I know what
Breeze.
you mean.
So he has a park, great. And then he decides to go ahead and start blowing off fireworks there, and it's the 20th, the 19th, 20th, something like that. And geez, Pete, now all this shit all over again.
Yeah.
This is
It's
getting
old.
really old.
It does.
I did call the sheriff on that. I have no idea if they made it out there or not. My dyslexia had kicked in, and I sent them to the wrong house.
Oh.
Called them back and gave them the right address, but you know, it might have been like the Keystone Cops or something there. But that issue, I blame council on that. The new person coming into the township should have had something there saying, this is what we've got, what we go by.
A welcome package.
Yeah, a welcome package of some sort. That'll eliminate a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. Copy of the noise ordinance.
Something there, welcome. You could even make a couple of bucks off of there, let somebody else pick up the cost for the printing by going out and getting some coupons from local businesses. Welcome to the community, here you go. Some freebies.
Yeah, well, that's.
And these are the, by the way, there's also a list of things you can and cannot do. And
That, we do have, this is a zone community. We do have.
right, we do have, and that guy with the bulldozer, when I was talking to him, his wife come out there, well, we live in the country, we can do anything we want. Well, yeah,
Unfortunately, that's
yes
not
and
the
no.
case.
The guy next door to me said the same thing. We live in a country. What's the matter with you? There are no rules.
Yeah, well, the problem is we have neighbors who need to be considered of that.
Last time I thought it was a zone community residential
It
and
is.
farm.
It is.
And with all the cars this guy next door's got that he goes through, where's the oil going to?
Yeah,
Where's the antifreeze going to? Is it leaching into the ground? Is it leaching back into the creek somehow?
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a concern for sure.
I don't know.
And then him and his buddy down the road, what's that guy with the
Thank you.
property on the opposite end?
Um,
With the real bad
I know who you mean, I can't think of it.
raz. I can't think of it.
Well, we gotta move on tonight, guys, but let me
Okay.
brief the board as to what's happened since you talked to me, Dave. I asked Bob to contact our attorney, Bob Vickery, to contact Fred and find out why this hasn't been addressed in a better manner. And Bob said that he was out there, but he never sent a letter. Our attorney told him to send a letter ASAP and tell these people if this doesn't stop immediately, we're gonna begin court proceedings. So whether that letter was sent or not, I can't say because Fred's not here tonight. But I do know that Bob's aware of it, and Bob, our attorney, has told him to go back out there at whatever time of the day, whatever day of the week, and find out when it's happening and what's going on. That's why I'd ask him, has he talked to you since we've
He
talked?
has not talked to me, like I said, since July 9th when they had that last shindig.
Yeah.
It's been, except for the radio,
Okay.
it's been fairly quiet. You just hear the kids yelling and screaming. And at 8:30, 9 o'clock, you go outside on the porch, sit there having coffee.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
don't
it's-
say, shut
it
up.
gets
be
old real
quiet."
quick.
It gets old.
We had it here in Riley Center a couple of years ago. They would fire up a four-wheeler that the exhaust had been altered on. And I'm telling you, in 10 minutes, everybody in town here knew what was going on. And we either had the sheriff out there, which is very hard to get him out, or then we had our other ordinance guy, Paul Wilson, would show up. And when they showed up, usually it quieted right down. And it'd be a couple, 3 weeks before it would flare up again. But when somebody comes out to their house and says, this has got to stop, you're violating our ordinance, you're breaking the law, we're going to take you to court, and you're going to stand before a judge. When they hear that, a lot of times they'll think about what they're doing. But until they hear or get a letter that says, you're going to be before a judge if this doesn't cease, they just turn a deaf ear to whatever the neighbors say or don't say about it. So anyway, I'm following up on it. I'll get with Fred and with our attorney and make sure that this gets addressed, because it's long overdue. Long overdue. So I'll follow up on it. Thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, I appreciate it. You guys really seriously give it a thought about what I said about the extra ordinance in there, 100 feet from a house.
Yeah, he's talking about the side setbacks.
You know, that needs to be increased.
What is it
because
now, Wayne, 35 or 25?
Yeah,
That's nothing.
Way too close.
The house, the neighbors, when they built the house next to Dave there, it started right on top of the line.
Yeah.
And then there were some grumblings made, and so they put the garage there, but there's still enough room to
Yeah.
drive
They go
around
around
with
the
the
garage.
ATV and stuff there, so
Well,
it's,
after we talked, I asked our attorney to review the noise ordinance to make sure that it was strong enough to deal with what you're dealing with out there. And he said, without a doubt, there's no problem with the ordinance. We just have to enforce it.
Okay.
So we'll follow up on it, and I'll find out what's going on, where it's at, and I'll give you some call.
thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks
thank you.
for, like I said, just give it a second thought, please.
Sure, we will. We'll bring
This
it up
is
at plan.
not besides me, there's other people out there, I believe, that would like to complain and don't because they don't, maybe they feel repercussions or something
Yeah.
happening or this and that.
Sure.
Well, at this point, I ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah, right. It's been going on way too long.
Yeah.
We're gonna take care of it. All right, let's do we have any additions to the agenda tonight, to the regular meeting agenda?
Was there anybody else that needed to address the board?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I should ask. I don't think there's anybody okay. All right, Don, we need an approval for the meeting agenda, but do we have any changes or additions?
I have an addition.
Okay.
Met with Kathy Fillion from the Parks and Rec Committee. She submitted an expenses for Fall Festival that I would like to add as new business number 8.
Okay. That has to do with the Fall Festival?
Yeah, Fall Festival expenses.
All right, got it. Any other additions? If not, can we have a motion to approve the regular meeting agenda for August 9th?
I'll make that motion.
All right.
I'll second it.
All right, we have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. How about the approval or motion to approve the consent agenda?
You want me to read the list
Yes,
that's on the
could you go
consent?
through them, please, Dawn?
Yep, I sure will. It's the meeting minutes from July 5th, the treasurer's report, the monthly accounts payable bills and payroll report. There is a bond and rental deposit refunds, check request for Fall Festival DJ karaoke.
I'll be in touch.
There is a bond forfeiture of permit number 190002.
Okay.
The audited financial report for fiscal year end of March 31st, 2022. There is a revenue and expenditure report for period ending of July 31st, 2022. An updated revenue sharing payments for fiscal year 2022 and 2023 projections and communications that have been received.
All right, we got quite a list there tonight.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
All right, do we have support?
I'll second it.
All right, we need a roll call on this.
Okay. Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Don Beam, yes. Al Titus.
Yes. Motion carried. All right, township news and announcements. We have a community shred day on Saturday, August 13th. That's
That's this coming Saturday, that's right.
9 a.m. to noon.
9 a.m. to noon. There's no registration, but there is a little pre-registration that's up on the website if you can. Let us know that you're coming. But the only really requirement is that it is for Riley Township residences only. So you do have to show proof of residency when you do show up. You can just show up with your stuff and it'll get shredded up into oblivion.
Great. All right. Fall Festival and Classic Car Show on Saturday, September 24th, 11 to 3 p.m. at the Riley Township Park. Volunteers are needed.
Badly.
Desperately, huh?
Yep. Smart when you're not doing nothing.
So
Saturday,
if anybody
September
wants to
24th.
volunteer, let Dwayne Hagel know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll appreciate your help. Burn permits are now available at the Memphis Fire Department and can be applied for online. That is a great thing for us here in the township because for a long time, sometime anyway, the Memphis Fire Department I don't know what, Emmett, I think they continue to do it.
They did
That was
continue.
not.
What was the reason why that they changed their mind on
The
this?
fire chief at that time just decided he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, didn't have enough time.
Oh.
It was too much,
Okay.
taking up too much of their time and energy.
So we're gonna have to change the website, correct?
I already did.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Dawn's on top of that.
Okay, I didn't check, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah,
that.
so
was-
yeah, that's
Yeah,
great. They
yeah,
did a-
because a lot of the residents know right now that there's no
And-
burn permit.
In most every municipality, the fire departments in those municipalities do burn permits. I mean, these guys have the expertise when they issue a burn permit to know if there's a hazard there or not. We don't have that. That's why we didn't want to adopt an ordinance and start doing the burn permits here at a township level. So that's why we waited and hoped that the fire department would reinstate that. Now with the new chief here in Memphis, it's back where it needs to be, so we appreciate that. And there's another reminder there, township office will be closed on Monday, September the 5th for Labor Day holiday. The general election day on Tuesday, November 8th. The polls will open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And that's as usual. Committee and departmental monthly reports. Planning Commission.
We did have a meeting
Oh,
on
I
July
forgot to
18th.
take
That was in regards to the special use application at 10703 Sparling Road,
Okay.
and that was about marijuana. That was approved, and that was about it for that meeting.
All right. Park and Recs, there was a meeting also.
Park and Rec. They do have a new member. His name is Don Green,
Okay.
and I believe we did appoint a new one again tonight.
We were about to.
And what else? Other than that, working on Fall Festival and the car show.
All right.
And they've been working a lot outside of the meetings, so just so everybody knows, they've been really working hard.
It's a lot of work to put that.
Yeah,
that's-
it is. You wouldn't think so, but it is.
Sure it is.
Yeah, I've been working with Kathy, so on
Yeah,
some
yeah.
information, so.
She calls me almost every day.
Zoning Board of Appeals, no meeting.
No meeting?
Ordinance Enforcement, Fred is not here tonight. Building Department, have you got anything for us, Doug?
Yeah, I got a couple items.
What you got?
That fire job over on Miller Road, down the road there, the one that burned out, the house burned down.
I did hear about it.
Miller and Dunn.
Miller and Dunn.
Anyway, they got a complaint from one of the residents. So I finally went over there today, and the missus was home, living in that trailer. And the insurance company has paid for that trailer for them to live in.
Okay.
Because the complaint was about the ruin out house, when it's going to be cleaned up.
Okay.
So I asked her about it, and she said, well, you know any contractors? I said, well, there's contractors around here. And to do that, and I said, well, they probably got a letter from township stating that it's got to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, I'm gonna get a couple estimates from, she's gotta get a couple estimates for the insurance.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
And, well, then, that's where it's at right now.
Okay.
And so they didn't settle with the insurance yet because there's a lot of, they're kinda slow on settling that.
Well, they need a demo permit on that?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Plus, they're gonna get they need a trailer permit later on.
Yes.
First of all, they get that, before that, they gotta get a building application permit, what they're gonna build,
Okay.
before they get a trailer permit.
Sure.
So, first of all, we'll deal with the demo.
Okay.
And then, another thing, we got, Pat got an email in the office about this, Blue Wave Solar. So, I got this from Heather. They wanna know what kind of, ordinances we have, or, setbacks for the solar panels.
Send them to planning.
Huh?
Send them to
We
planning.
have an ordinance on it.
Well, not on solar panels, I don't think.
Side setbacks, yeah. you
It's
do.
Yeah,
been
Because
discussed.
we
Yeah, we've had
had,
it.
I don't know.
come
I
through
mean,
ZBA.
anyway,
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
had zoning board meetings on that as well, requests for variance, which I think was denied.
Yeah, it was denied. They wanted only 3 feet
From the property line.
side setback.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
this woman is talking acres, 35, 40 acres of solar panels.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, send her
We
to,
don't have nothing on that.
send her to planning
pretty sure.
commission anyway.
Well, anyway, I told her to go check the website and go from there, I says.
Yeah.
Because she's got about 3 sites in the township that and that they're looking at.
Mhm.
So probably these farmers are gonna pay them so much, and they're gonna pay the farmers so much an acre to put these panels up. But you're talking like 35 and 40 acres.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be a commercial operation
Yes.
then? And it's not zoned for it, so
Right.
they couldn't put it in there in the first
place.
place.
Special use though, because we don't have nothing on our ordinance.
Special use, that takes planning action.
Oh, pretty sure we do.
For sure,
Boy.
yeah.
But I don't, maybe, Dwayne, maybe you can run it past the planning, I mean,
I could, well, we
I
have more
mean-
time, Dawn can look it up, but I'm sure we have something in there,
Yeah, I know there's
almost
something.
positive, and it's been in there
well,
for
we
quite a
got,
few
we got
years.
setbacks for residential lots.
Well, we'll have planning review
But
it.
as far as I know, I don't think we have anything, I may, might have, but.
Yeah, there's something in place, I don't know what, but there is something in place. We'll have planning review it and see what's in place and.
But
what we
same
can
thing
do.
with these, you're probably gonna have windmills too.
That's in
Yeah,
there too.
we've
And,
already been addressed.
I think, I don't know if you talked about that or not.
Yeah, that's, we have an ordinance on that also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Anyway, I told her to check the website for it and,
Yeah. All right, Doug.
but as far as that, it's gonna be commercial use, they probably still have to go for a special use.
Yeah. They won't get a rezone, I can guarantee that. We don't spot zone.
No.
So they won't get rezoning if they need commercial zoning out there and it's in ag residential. All right, let's move on then. Election Commission.
Yep. That's me. Oh,
What do you got for us, Dawn?
I just wanted to show real quick here too. Found those numbers on the absent voters for, let me see if I can pop it up here. So the primary election was my first election experience, and couldn't have done it without Pat's help. She was instrumental in the efficiency of the election day and how smooth it went. So kudos to Pat, my right-hand man here.
Yeah.
So this is the absent voter list, not the in-precinct list. So we sent out 448 absent voter ballots, not the applications, but the ballots themselves. So broken down by the 3 different ballot styles. So the 1A is Armada, 1CA is KPAC, and the 1SC4 is everybody else in through there. So you can see we had, with KPAC, we had 128, of the 148, we had 128 that were returned. So we had about 86.49 return rate. 20 of them were still outstanding. The biggest one with the SC4, 231 were issued, 205 were returned, 26 were still remaining. So I was kind of a little bit disappointed in the numbers because history, we've usually had like a really high percentage return rate on the AV, and it wasn't as high as what I had hoped it'd been. But all in all, not too bad, 393, which gave us an 87.72% return rate on our absent voter ballots that were returned.
That's pretty good for a primary, I think.
For a primary.
I think it is, too.
Now, the other thing, on the other, I didn't bring it up on this list here. Other information, I couldn't really break it out a whole heck of a lot between in precinct and by age group who voted and such, only by the ballot style on the AV side. It let me break it out. But our voter turnout, we had a total of 937 voters between in-person and AV ballots, total votes casted. Out of 2,661 registered voters in our township. We had a 35% turnout for a primary. We were the highest percentage of a turnout
That's very
in the
That's pretty
entire
good.
county.
Wow.
Based on our registered voters, we had the highest percentage of voter turnout. So kudos to Riley Township for that. We may not have the most registered voters, but the turnout rate that we had for our township, they showed up. And I'm very happy about that. I like to look at things analytical to find out also who voted and what age groups, who is mostly voting. Our youngest group, our first-time voters, age 18 to 21, we have 120 registered voters. They showed up, they were the 4th in line to show up. 27% showed up.
Wow.
So of the 120, we had 32 show up and casted their vote. The next age group, the 20-year-olds, out of 349 registered voters, we had 37 show up. The next age group, the 30-year-olds, we have 399 registered voters. We had 80 show up to vote. 40-year-olds, 371 registered voters. We had 97 show up to vote. 50-year-olds, we have 513 registered voters. 210 showed up to vote.
Wow.
So yeah. And the 60-year-olds and older, 909 registered voters. 481 showed up to vote, whether by absentee and in person. So, looking at the data that I have before me, basically, over 73% of our 937 who cast their vote were 50 and older. 73%.
Wow.
So, like I said, with our youngest first-time voters, they were a very close third to our, let me see here, to our 40-year-old group. So it was really nice to see our young people are being encouraged to come out and vote. I know my two young adults made sure that they casted their vote, one by absentee, one in person. So. And I hope everybody encourages their young folk, whether they're away from
When your mother's a clerk, you better vote.
That's right.
Thank you.
So I was really encouraged by looking at the data and the numbers that we had for our township. I did make some updates into our website. This is our website. I know not everybody was here the last time when I gave the thing, but quick overhaul. Click on, I did update the elections page. Click. It's loading. Our internet is slow. See, it's working. Here we are. So I did make some updates. So I did update the general election instructions on here. If you want to know, here's where you want to know what's on your ballot. This is where you go to, and it pops you to the state of Michigan ballot. You click in your jurisdiction. It shows you exactly what your ballot is going to be on there, including all proposals regardless of what ballot style that you're on. It gives you everyone. So if you have KPAC is there right along with the Armada and right along with anybody else's. So if it applies to you, you will be able to see it.
Helpful.
Yep. Also, general information is we have some very good information here about how to register online and what to expect in a polling place. Some good information. Drop down menus here, good information. You want to know what the election results are? Here's all the links for the election results that all link to the state of Michigan tallying results and the county as well too. So you can click here and it will pop you directly to the election reporting website, which makes it nice. And you click on your county and it pops it right up. Come on. Oh, because I skipped them. So anyway, I won't tie you all up in here, but I did update the absent voter information as well too. A lot of great information. Who can vote? You must be a resident in the state of Michigan and a resident of your city and township for at least 30 days before you can vote in your new jurisdiction. So that information is there. What are the deadlines as well? One thing I really want to point out, because this has happened a couple of times, and some people may not really understand fully. On an absent voter, the voter must sign for their application and their on their ballot, on the signature. There's a lot of misunderstood things where people think that because they have power of attorney that they can vote or that they can sign their name for them. Under election law, you cannot. The voter must sign their own name or mark, so which is fine. That's the big misconception. Is the one exception under election law, because that signature has to match our voting system. And if it doesn't match that vote, and if it doesn't get cured or corrected in time for the election, it will not count. So I did have a couple of instances, whether they were intentional or not, but they were both corrected and taken care of prior to the election, so I was happy. But I wanted to clear up the misconceptions
Yeah.
about who can sign for an absent voter application and who can sign for an absent voter ballot that's required on the back. And only the voter. If they're unable to, they still need to make a mark. And a voter can update their signature. Signatures change over time, or a debilitating medical condition can happen, and they're not able to sign their name like they used to. So their signature can actually be updated and uploaded into the system. They just have to come into the clerk's office, re-sign their voter card. It gets uploaded into the system, and you're good to go. So that was very important. And
Yeah. I had that question too.
Yep.
Prior to the primary.
It says right on the application, power of attorney cannot sign.
Yeah.
It is a felony. Can't stress that enough. If you do that, even though you're power of attorney, you are technically committing a crime, and you can be prosecuted for it, and it's considered a felony and fraudulent. So please, please, please do not sign for your kids' absentee ballots, and do not sign for your elderly parent. Yes.
Can't do it.
Two things.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
I hope that parking situation isn't like that from now on, because some of us older people have a hard time walking, but we don't have no, handicap thing.
Yeah, there's
Well,
lots of handicap parking.
I would.
Right. But I mean, there's no sidewalks that run straight through or anything like that. I hope this isn't going to be an ongoing thing.
Well, looking at the data, when over 73% voted are 50 and older, those, being my first time, I anticipated more people would use the handicap spots, basically. So I anticipated there would be more usage. And I was really disappointed that those who needed to use it didn't use it, even if they didn't have the stickers for it. Even if they don't have the stickers for it. If you need to use that up-close parking, use it. I'm not going to send the handicap sticker police out after you, kind of thing.
And the second thing is, pertaining to this man here, Memphis, but how many of the KPAC voters actually have kids in the school district? Because you get a lot of the older people, a tax thing, they turn it down. So, it's a fact of life. I mean, if anybody that sees,
So we're a good example. We both live in KPAC district, but both my boys go to Memphis.
Yep.
Yeah,
but-
school of choice.
But people, how many people actually have kids that go there? You get an older person that says, I ain't paying no more taxes.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah, I used to think that way too, but I've kind of changed my thinking on that. Somebody paid for us to go to school.
I know.
Whether they had kids in the,
A renewal, there's no problem with renewals.
I would be surprised. I was surprised to hear they voted against the renewal.
But I'm wondering if it is, like you say, the case of do those voters have children in school, in your school district? Was that a factor in it not passing in Riley Township? That would be curious to know. Looking at that demographic of the voters and their age group, that might be an explanation for that. So
how does that work for school of choice, though?
Well, school of choice, actually, your taxes still go to the school that you are in. So those tax dollars do not go away. If I live in KPAC and I do school of choice in Memphis kind of thing, those tax dollars still go to KPAC.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't impact that in any factor.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
All right, are we ready to move on then?
Yeah.
We had one more item there. Roads permit for I-69 culvert replacements. That's just information for us tonight.
Yep, there was an information, we received a permit from, they're going to be doing drain work on I-69.
Okay.
So that is the permit of the work that they're going to be doing. All these permits that we do receive from Eagle in our township are posted on the township website. This one in particular was pretty big. It was like 30-some pages long, so they have pictures of the work that they're going to be doing that's included in the permit. You can see the entire permit document on our website if you go to the community information and then click on the road commission and you will see all the permits that are in our township from them.
All right, thank you, Dawn. Let's move on to unfinished business tonight. The first one on there is road commission, new projects / work orders, if any. Do we have any tonight?
No, nothing that we've received from the road commission, so we just have the existing ones that we're still kind of waiting for when they're gonna actually start on them. Because we did have the road closure at, on Eagling that's new, that has been posted.
Right, that culvert failed, so that's gonna be the first one they go after.
What? Oh, yeah, and then plus that was an emergency one that the road commission did on Riley
election
Center
day.
on Election Day.
Yeah.
Right, the
And
culvert failure.
That road on Election Day down here on the north end of Riley Center.
Really?
Put a culvert, a crossroad culvert in.
Yeah.
It was sinking like a rock. I told Brendan about it 2 months ago. I said, that culvert's sinking. So
Yeah.
they took 2 months to get the stuff together and get out there and do it, but they did a nice job on it.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's
Hey,
taken
Al,
care of.
speaking of roads, are you gonna get some roads a second chloride application?
You know, I asked Brendan that question today, and he said no. He said they are not equipped this year to do any spot chloride like they used to. And they do one application, and they've already done that, and he said they're nothing scheduled to do any more than that.
Well, this wouldn't be a spot, it'd be 2 miles, well, I got 2 miles.
2 miles? Well,
Well, I mean, like you did last year.
yeah, on your road, they used to do that.
Yeah.
The one business owner would pay for it there on Hill. But he said they're not equipped to do it this year for whatever reason. So I don't think we're gonna see any of that this year, according to the,
Because our hill road's gonna need grading, it's getting washboard.
yeah, they're
I
terrible.
talked to Brendan last week about it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah.
But I think they should put another chloride, once this dries up again, it's gonna be like powder again.
We had a resident call today that said they never got chloride on their road on Braidwood between Bell River and Boardman, and when I talked to Brendan on that, he said, oh, yes, they did, all the roads were chlorided. But see, once they grade, the dust develops again, of course, and
Well, yeah, you go with grade, then you got to put
yeah,
that
well, we
chloride.
got dust again, so. I don't know, if I hear anything different, I'll let you know, but as of today, they said they weren't prepared to do any more chloriding at all in the town, any of the
Well, they're gonna
towns.
get paid for it, I mean, and that's gonna.
Yeah, well, they haven't even offered it to us to pay for it. So if they offer it, we can certainly consider
No,
it.
I mean, they're not gonna pay for the township.
No, I know that, but if they offer to do it for us, we might consider paying for it, especially in some emergency cases where it's really bad. But they haven't even offered it to us as an option to do a second
Well, it
application.
shouldn't have an option, you just want it done.
Well, it
You know?
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that with the county. They tell us what they're gonna do, we don't tell them what to do. I
Well,
wish
if
we
you
did.
need something done, I mean, that's where they go to.
I know, well, that's where I went today, and he said, we're not doing it. So, and they used to do it all the time. Whatever we needed, we'd call and say, we need more out here, or this resident wants to pay for.
It could be shortage of
spot.
drivers with the contractors, you know?
Yeah,
Who knows?
I don't
Yeah, but
know.
that was just a spot, 500 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A mile.
Yeah. Where are you thinking about in particular?
Well, Hill Road and Good Gun Road, I
All right,
guess.
I'll question.
That's what we did last year, yeah.
Yeah, those are the two most traveled.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we did last year.
All right, I'll question them again about it and see if we can get those two roads done again. Because
When I talked to Brendan,
heavy travel.
I think it was last week, maybe the week before, I said Hill and Dunn is absolutely terrible with the washboards.
Yeah.
If we can hold off until the middle of August, they're gonna grade Hill and Dunn. He says, you might wanna think about giving it a second chloride application.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
Yep.
Well, he didn't offer it to me today. I'll go back and ask him.
Because he said if we grade in the middle of August, he said it's gonna be dusty. That's why I realized that.
Well, that's what the board talked about when all this road was coming up in the spring, I thought they were gonna do both them roads.
Yeah, I'll question him again on it, Doug. See what we can do.
The reason he said Hill and Dunn gets so bad is because there's so much traffic on
Oh,
those roads.
Yeah, those are the two most
I mean, you get over
traveled
like Doug's,
roads
mine's
in
not too bad in front of my house, but Hill Road in front of Doug's is treacherous.
Oh, yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
it's like M19 going out.
Yeah,
so
it
there's
is.
more.
Man,
It's unbelievable.
I will find out
A lot of traffic.
tomorrow. All right, let's move on tonight. Where are we? Administrative policy update. Oh, blight complaints, there aren't any tonight. Fred, we're here, maybe, I'm not aware of any. Administrative policy updates. I did read through these 4 chapters, and I'm ready, if the board is ready
Yep.
to
Is there a motion to approve?
What I'd like to do first is I do want to, we have let me just explain briefly. We have Chapter 4, which is the Public Information Officer.
Okay.
Chapter 5 is Records Management. Chapter 6 is Property Management. Chapter 7 is Financial Administration. I would like to table Chapter 7 since our treasurer is not here, and that chapter particularly pertains to the duties and the roles of the clerk and the treasurer together, so.
Okay. So you want a motion then to approve the 4, 5, and 6?
Yes,
Table
please.
7?
So do you want me to make a motion to, first to delay chapter 7?
Yes.
Table?
Oh, table. I make a motion to table chapter 7, financial administration.
Support?
Administration.
I'll support. Okay, we have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
I'll make a motion to adopt and approve the following Raleigh Township Board and Administrative Policies Manuals chapters. Chapter 4, Public Information Officer. Chapter 5, Records Management. Chapter 6, Property Management.
All right, we have a motion. Is there support for that?
I'll second.
Did you support that?
Yep.
Okay. We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye. We actually need to do a roll call on that.
All right. Go right ahead.
Okay. Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Don Beam, yes. Al Titus?
Yes. Motion carried. All right, moving on to new business.
First, we need to actually, now that we adopted those,
Yes.
we need to rescind the current policies
got
that
you.
those are applied. I'll make that motion
All
since
right.
I know which ones apply to which chapters.
I don't want to go. Okay, because I don't want to name all these.
Right ahead.
Okay, I will.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All right.
Let me read them out. Motion to rescind the following policies. Number 8, first responder fire account management procedure. Number 14, public information and freedom of information release. 14.1, public summary of FOIA procedures and guidelines. 14.2, Freedom of Information Act request, detailed cost itemization. Number 16, field facsimile transmission policy. Number 39, guidelines for public inspection of Riley Township records. Number 17 and 17 appendices 1 to 2, table and chair rental policies. Number 30, smoking policy. 31, cell phones. 36, AYSO soccer policies. I just want to also reiterate that all these policies have been incorporated into the new ones that were just approved.
Okay.
And we do need a roll call.
All right.
Need
Yep.
to take a deep breath after that one. Jeez.
Don Beam, yes. Yes, Don Beam, yes. Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Al Titus.
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, are you ready to move on to new business?
Yes.
Okay. Number 1, resolution number 2022-17 for 2023 local road system funding for the St. Clair County Road Commission. I spoke with Brennan today about that. He and I are going to get together on what projects we might list on the local road application for their help. He suggested a couple of aprons or approaches on Hill and Dunn roads at M19 as a couple of the possible.
What was the, can you repeat that again?
Oh, I mean.
Brendan suggested enlarging the aprons or approaches on Dunn and Hill where they meet M19.
Yeah, just like they did here at Masters. and-
Exactly,
yeah.
just what they did here because he said they're just tore up.
That works.
There's no fix to them until they blacktop them. So that's what he would like me to include in my local road assistance application this year. So we're going to talk more about it next week and see what other suggestions he has as far as projects for the local road assistance. He did tell me that our St. Clair County long-term director, Kirk Weston, is retiring. So they'll have some new leader there soon in September. Kirk's done a great job over the years.
So are you applying for this now?
I'll
Well,
be applying, I have to have it in by the end of September.
yeah,
Oh.
on the application instructions, it says the township resolution and completed application by September 30th.
Right.
So we can actually table the resolution until you know further,
Well, that's good.
until the next meeting.
Yeah, we can do the
You know,
resolution.
because we have to keep, yeah, the resolution has to include the projects that we're anticipating it to go towards.
Yeah, we can do it in the September meeting,
Okay.
and I'll have the application finalized by then.
That would be good on Hill Road, because there's a bad spot on Hill Road right off 19.
They can't keep those in any kind of decent shape.
Right in that area,
Yeah,
it's low.
yeah, he said hill and done. They just tear them up. And he said we'd like to blacktop them in a little way so they don't rip them up so bad.
Well, if they don't blacktop it too far, then you won't gravel on Hill Road anyway.
Yeah,
In
well,
one spot.
those are the two he mentioned to me today. All in favor of that. So we'll see what else we can get on that list of local road assistance. All right, number 2, request for 2022 local millage distribution to St. Clair County Parks and Rec Commission. What do we need on that tonight?
Yep, that form is just what it is. So we need to make a motion to approve this application so we can submit this to the Parks and Recreation. This is something that we asked the auditors to complete for us.
Okay.
So it is completed with the information. The board needs to take action and approve this application so it can be moved to the Parks and Rec Commission.
All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All right. You want a roll call on that, Don? or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Al Titus.
Yes.
Don Beam, yes.
Motion carried. All right, the third one is request for DNR Michigan Spark Grant pre-application.
Yeah, this is something that our treasurer couldn't be here tonight, so I asked him to put it in writing. So that way it needs to be approved. So that way he can submit the paperwork by August 25th. So it would not make it to our next meeting. So, and this is a pre-application. So once the pre-application is submitted, then they'll have a better idea of the actual application for us to finalize at a later date. So I would like to make the motion and submit the grant funding pre-application with the required documentation to DNR Michigan Spark Grants for funding township park projects as presented.
I'll second that.
All right. We have a motion and support. Probably want a roll call on this as well.
Yes. Don Beam, yes. Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Al Titus.
Yes.
Hopefully you get a piece of that $40 million for a park.
We'll put it to good use if we do.
It's a lot of money.
We're still thinking about that walking path out
Yeah.
there. All right, we have a resignation letter here under number 4. The chair of our Park and Rec resigned due to health concerns in the family, and we need to approve that resignation letter.
I'll make a motion to accept Deanna Bokarowski's from the Park and Rec Committee.
I'll second that.
All right, we have
Resignation letter.
motion and support. You don't need a
No.
You don't need a roll call.
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carried. All right, we have application on number 5, received for Park and Rec Committee. That's a resident that wants to join our Park and Rec, and that is Renee Rodas. I know Renee, I think she'll do a fine job. I'm going to recommend to the board that they appoint her tonight.
I will second it.
All right.
Took me 2 months of begging for her. I finally got her.
All right. Actually, we need a motion before. Wayne, would you make the motion?
Oh, I thought you did.
Mark, no.
Yeah, I thought you
I
did.
just made a recommendation.
I'll make the
Yeah,
motion
then we need a
to
motion and support.
accept committee applications for Renee Doucette Rodas and appoint to Parks and Rec.
All right, Wayne, you can second.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, and
Okay.
moving on along our list tonight,
Mhm.
we have receiving board stipend pay.
Yep. Seeing that this is my first experience with the election and stuff and knowing all the ins and outs of it, going through it full cycle. One of the things that we kind of left out, especially when in the budgeting time, because we changed up how we pay our inspectors and stuff. One vital part is we have a receiving board basically who cross-checks. Having an accounting board for the AV ballots, and then we have the in-precinct, and we have a receiving board, and those members on the receiving board that are appointed basically cross-check. So that who are on the AV board cross-checks the in-precinct numbers and vice versa before it goes to county. So it's
Right.
one extra step that takes extra time by members that are expected to stay longer to do that. And I would like to ask for a $25 stipend to receiving board members for that additional time that they spend doing that for us.
For their extra time.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Right? You want a roll call on that, Con?
Because it's a dollar amount,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, good.
Al Titus?
Yes.
Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Don Beam, yes. Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, the next one we have is a tree removal bid, and because it was a safety hazard, I went ahead, I looked at both of the estimates. One was $1,200, one was $750, and I went ahead and asked the lower of the bid to put us on their schedule, and he said they were booked for several weeks, but he could do it on the weekend, so he actually came in and did the job Sunday, and the tree is gone. I was concerned about it. It was a double dead cottonwood tree, and the bark was coming off it. I was afraid the limbs would start coming out of it. So I went ahead and had that done because I thought it was a safety issue for the people in the park.
Yeah, it needed to come down.
So Tom and I worked on it together. He actually got the bids. All we need now is somebody to come back and grind the stump. They flushed it off as close to the ground as they could get it. They're gonna. They've already sent me some numbers on people that do the stump grinding. That's about $200, but will still be at least $300 or $400 cheaper than what the highest bid was. So all I need tonight is a motion to pay for this tree removal and approval to go ahead and have done.
Which is for what amount?
$750. I think the estimate is there in your packet. It was Clay's tree removal, who was right here in our township.
I'll make that motion.
All right, is there support?
I'll second it.
All right, a motion and support to pay Clay's tree removal for the removal of the tree here in the park. You want a roll call on that, I'm sure.
Mark Baranowski?
Yes.
Dwayne Hagel?
Yes.
Al Titus?
Yes.
Don Beam, yes.
Motion carried.
I have a question, Al.
Sure.
I just walking into the hall today. There's a back tree back here that is dead. Is that on our property?
I'm not positive. I'd have to check. I think it possibly could be. There's always been a debate about where the line is between
I
here
know
and.
exactly where the line's at.
Do you, Dwayne?
Yep.
Good.
Is it
We'll
on
look and
ours,
see if
or-
it's on us or not.
As soon as I walk out, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a big tree.
Yeah,
It's
it
dead.
is, and it's right next to the roadway.
I know.
too, so it could
that'll be
go-
the next one that's gotta come down. So, yeah, look, because I'm not sure where the property line is. We went back and forth on that for years. And Tom always disagreed with what our thoughts were about where the
I
property
called
line
Tom and asked him, he goes, I don't know, ask my wife.
Oh, okay. She knew, huh? All right, we have just one item left on our new business tonight, the Fall Festival. What do you have on that, Tom?
Yeah, Kathy Filion has been working quite hard on the expenses for the Fall Festival, as Dwayne is aware. The original event we had already approved, so she has that included on the sheet and already noted that we already approved it. But she's been compiling prices for food, beverages, food supplies. I've been working with her to let her know, too, that we do have a Sam's Club account, so that way we can be able to order all those types of things when the time comes. And she estimated she would need probably about $800 for those items. The DJ and music, Todd Carmen, is scheduled, and he has $200 rate. They also want to add 2 bounce houses with an attendant from 11 to 3 at a cost of $260. So those three items comes to $1,260. That we would like that they're asking for approval ahead of time for the event.
All right, is there a motion to
I'll
approve?
make that motion.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and support, we can go ahead and vote whenever Dawn's ready.
Yep. Dwayne Hagel.
Yes.
Mark Baranowski.
Yes.
Don Beam, yes. Al Titus.
Yes, motion carried. Comments from the board members not already addressed?
I have one. I talked to Doug Platt, a week ago.
Yes.
He says, of all the complaining he does about Riley Township and their zoning ordinance and stuff like that, he's concerned the last couple of years that he said Riley Township is really on the ball compared to neighboring townships and the city of Memphis. I don't know if you know what's going on in the city of Memphis.
No, I know.
Across from the funeral home, you see all them big I-beams?
Yes.
They're putting a mulching dye company in
Yeah,
there.
that's what I
It
heard.
doesn't have
too.
to be rezoned or nothing, they're
Right
going in
in
there.
the
and
center of town.
Yep. Imagine the smell, noise.
Wow.
Oh, what? What are they doing?
So when they chip up trees and stuff,
Oh, okay, chipper, yeah.
so all that bark and stuff, that's gonna be a dye company or a dye factory in Memphis. They're gonna dye that. You can go by there and buy mulch.
They have a building now?
They're gonna build a building. The I-beam's already sitting there. They're huge.
Huh. I didn't know the lot was that big there.
It's not. But when he's seen that and he complains about us, he goes, "We are on top of the ball." He said,
glad to
"Memphis
hear
got
that.
nothing."
I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that.
I
He
mean,
said, "Just go in there and build it."
yeah.
So that made me feel good, especially coming from Doug.
That was owned by the funeral home, was it not?
Yep,
That lot?
yep,
And
yep.
that's been sold, the funeral home has been sold, I know.
Chuck Carterman, I think, bought it.
I think so too.
All right, any other comments from the board members tonight, not already addressed?
I seen Jeff White at the Richmond Police pig roast that they had,
Okay.
and he's actively pursuing estimates on
The station.
Yes. the
I went
station.
back there, I think last Monday, a week ago yesterday, there was about 17 people up there,
Yeah.
8 or 10
So-
trucks, so they're getting close.
Good,
So,
good, I can't wait.
And
to
I
see
did
them.
mention to him, just an FYI, to make it easier on the drivers, that there was a previous driveway in the back of that property.
Oh, was there?
Yeah. And he said, yeah, we could do that, but it needs a lot of fill. And I said, well, I know where you can get a lot of fill. Just
Oh, good.
come on over and see me, so.
Good.
Just to make it more convenient, because of the lot line is so close to where they can't have a circle drive. So
Yep.
That's it.
Anxious to see them get started up
Yep.
yeah.
I haven't heard nothing, no plans on that yet. I haven't seen nothing. He's dropped nothing off
there.
yet.
I'm surprised.
Huh?
I'm surprised.
I think he's having a hard
Talking
time
about
getting
started by
getting bids, trying to
July
get.
or
I think you'll be getting them soon, Doug.
Yeah, you'll be getting them soon, as soon as they hire a contractor, I'm sure. I only have one comment tonight, and that was, I thought the election went extremely well. I've been in a lot of elections in this township, and that one went as smooth as I've seen them go. I thought it was well organized. We made a lot of changes, and we're gonna have to do a little bit of tweaking yet, but I think we're on the right track, and I have not heard hardly any complaints about the time frame it took for people to get in and out and vote.
No, just the people walking up.
Yeah, and you can't please everybody.
Well,
You know that.
I'll give you a little history of I even told him, because he kind of chewed me out about this. He goes, well, I couldn't find a place to park. I said, well, back when I was the maintenance man, at the last census, at that time, I'm not exactly sure, but we did not have enough handicap parking
Yeah.
spaces. So I increased it by 4. I put the signs up when I was maintenance man. So that's why Mr. Baranowski does not have a close parking spot.
Okay. So there's the complaint department right there. Trustee Baranowski.
Here, catch this bottle of water.
You can complain to him. Yeah, so like Dawn said, if you need to park in the handicap spot, park there, whether you have a sticker or not.
We'll just give you a towel or something
Nobody's
to
gonna
hang
arrest
over
you.
the sign.
Yeah, that's my words of advice.
I wasn't,
I was a really
nothing
good.
personal.
Oh no. I like to see the feedback and stuff from it too,
Yeah.
because like I said, looking at the data, the majority of our voters are 50 and older, and I would have hoped that those who need to use it, and I, especially if they don't, I didn't understand that people didn't have their
Yeah.
stickers and what's involved with that. So the people that I saw that needed to use it, just use it. We want to make it more accessible for those who have difficulty getting to the polls. I want to encourage them to be able to come in and be able to vote in person.
Okay.
Those who are able to vote can walk a little bit farther to get there.
Speaking of handicap, what can we do? What is going to be the process to get that reconfigured?
The porch.
Yes.
We've been through that. We had some estimates done and drawings. We need to revisit that, dig them out again, and see the
I know
big challenge is going to be to hire a contractor, I think.
Well,
But
I
we
know
can
it's so,
sure try.
it's so close, and it definitely it's got to be done.
Yeah.
It's got to be done. Like I
Yeah,
know
they
it's,
have it done
it
before.
sits so close to the road. We're gonna
Let's
have some
look at it
issues.
again.
Yeah.
Who has the drawings?
I do.
I'm sure they're in the office.
I do.
So
They're in my cabinet.
Okay, I think I would like to see the ARPA funds, or even
Yeah.
maybe check into a grant to get that done, because
We can do ARPA funds, I think.
Yeah, we have to look into consideration too, is like especially with elections. One of the reasons why we changed the layout of it is because you don't want to have those who have not voted and those who have voted passing through the same door.
Right,
oh,
right.
okay.
That
There was a
was the
one-way street in
reason
here.
why it was changed
Oh, I got
to come
I
through.
gotcha. Oh, okay.
That was the main reason, because
Yeah.
all the guidance from the state of Michigan, when at all possible, they understand a lot of buildings are old, but we do have 2 doors coming in and out of this building, and we wanted to see how it would work, and it worked beautifully.
Yeah, that was very congested
Yeah.
in the past when people were coming and going.
Especially in inclement
Yeah.
weather,
Yep.
everybody was crowding into the little foyer area there and
Yeah, this
huddling
was
in
much
through
better
there.
to come in and go out.
Yep, it was.
Different way.
It went really well. We had, the coverings in the back to offer protection from the weather and the elements and stuff. If you were in line here, kind of thing. So that was one of the main factors why the layout was changed, is so that you have one entrance and one exit, and voters are not in close proximity of each other.
Yeah, it worked well.
We made exceptions for those, which we tried to label those with handicap and wheelchair accessible, that they can use that if they would not be able to fit there. We were on the lookout for those who may have needed assistance or redirection to come through the front entrance because of the ramp up in the front area, if this door was too narrow for them.
Yeah, it worked very well, I thought, Dawn.
I did too, I
was
thought.
pleased with it.
Yeah.
Are any other comments from the board members not already addressed tonight? Okay, next regular meeting scheduled, September 6th at 7 p.m. here at the hall. So, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion at 8:22.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion carried, we're adjourned.